What's good folks, it's NIKANA here with a new Warframe video, coming at you with some of the strongest melee weapons in the game. I judge these weapons based on their stances, the weapon type, and how well they scale in high level content, while also being able to dish out insane amounts of damage with simple basic modding, as well as them being rivenless. Now, if you want to get an in-depth guide on how to mod your melee and better improve your damage, check out my advanced melee modding guide. Before I start, there are a few things that need to be clarified. Damage type or elemental damage and their status effects are two different things. Slash damage is horrible against armor, but its status effect, bleed, ignores armor and deals true damage straight to the enemy's health. Viral damage isn't what makes viral good, but rather its status effect, because at 10 stacks you deal 325% multiplicative health damage, which is why viral and slash pair well with each other. And heat doesn't strip armor, its status effect ignite reduces the overall armor value by 50% at 10 stacks. Crits, raw damage, and attack speed have diminishing returns, so it isn't wise to overstack these. So pretty green numbers on your modding section does not mean you're going to do big damage. Physical damage mods like Buzzkill only increase the damage type and proc priority and does not affect the bleed proc damage. Only raw damage mods do that. Unfortunately, people do not know the true power of smite mods, but to be honest, they're only for high level enemies and not truly worth modding for in casual day-to-day missions, sorties, breezing through Steel Path, and even arbitrations. Alright, now that aside, let's start off with number 10, the Gram Prime. This is one of the deadliest heavy blades in the game. The only reason that it's at number 10 is because of its horrible attack speed. This weapon would be number 1 if it had better attack speed. Now if you'd want to get a ribbon for this weapon, go for crit damage and attack speed. Taking a look at the first build, scaling damage, crits, double attack speed mods since it needs it, rips through enemies to deal insane amounts of bleed damage over time. The second is the viral and slash setup. Unfortunately, this setup has less attack speed, but it has two elemental mods to help proc viral. The viral damage is set lower, so the slash has a higher proc priority. Keep this in mind. When it comes to slash and viral, you want your slash to have a higher proc priority. To help with the horrible attack speed, you can run Arcane Strike to increase your attack speed. At number 9, the GUANDAO Prime, currently one of the most devastating prime polearms. Fast and destructive, 3 meters of range for wide clears and sweeps. The first build is the pure slash setup with a slight increase in status chance, a neutral build that works pretty much anywhere. The second one is the viral setup, keeping the viral damage lower than the slash since you want a higher ratio on the slash. And the last one is the simple corrosive build. In this case, corrosive would need to be the dominant damage type for it to do a lot of damage. With a low riven disposition on GUANDAO Prime, it's not worth going for over-the-top rivens, but I recommend a dual elemental combo with Toxin and Cold so you can have low viral values and add another mod like Spring-Loaded Blade to increase your range. And number 8, the SILVA and AEGIS Prime, a sword and shield. A weapon that has innate heat and no other physical damage types, and would depend on its stance to proc physical damage types. The first build is the simple corrosive, modded with raw elements as you want to have the corrosive as the main damage type. Simple yet devastating. Second build is the infamous viral heat, and this is one of the melees that actually make it work, since it has innate heat damage. Forcefully modding other melee weapons for viral and heat will actually have you lose out on damage rather than do more. This melee also suffers a little with attack speed, so for a riven I recommend crit damage and attack speed. Alright, at number 7, the KUSAR, a blade and whip weapon, which happens to be the stronger weapons with innate heat that scales very high in damage. The first build is the go-to corrosive, similar to SILVA and AEGIS, but however, this weapon has physical damage, and the stance force procs physical damage. And finally, the viral setup, again similar to the SILVA and AEGIS but stronger. It's so satisfying with its red crits. For the riven, I recommend crit damage and range. Number 6, the VENKA Prime, the strongest claw melee in the game, has an amazing passive that allows it to hit 13 times combo, heavy and slash, great crits, and bleeds. The first build, since it's a slash weapon, we're going to balance out the viral damage to slash using the Vermillion Storm stance. I'll be using either the regular button mash combo and the forward and block combo. And the second build is the non-elemental bleed setup without smite mods. This offers it more range so it can be a lot more devastating. Similar to KUSAR, I recommend crit damage and range on this weapon. At number 5, the Pangolin Prime, one of the best swords in the game now. However, it does lack in attack speed. Between this and the Broken War, Pangolin only wins in its status chance and base damage, giving you higher bleeds which can help you scale very high. The first build is the go-to viral, balancing out your viral damage so your slash is higher. Straightforward and simple. The second build is the go-to non-elemental for heavy bleeds and 2 gladiator mods for some added crits and attack speed. For a Riven, I recommend crit damage and attack speed. Moving on to number 4, the Reaper Prime, a devastating melee, heavy and slash, great crits, and status chance, definitely a very dangerous weapon. The first build is the viral combo. It has the go-to mods, you want slash to be higher than viral. The second is the non-elemental for those epic bleed procs and increase in range. The final build is the heavy attack build. Personally, one of my least favorite ways to play with melees, but it offers instantaneous initial damage with 1 force bleed proc. Force bleeds on heavy attacks are weapon specific and have nothing to do with stances. Now, this build is great for regular missions but doesn't scale as well as the combo builds. For Rivens, I recommend crit damage and range. At the top 3 now. For this, we have the NIKANA Prime. All weebs unite, because this weapon is fast and friggin' deadly, making you feel like a true samurai. The first build is the go-to viral, and it has a great stance as well for the quick slashes and can close distances very easily. Second build is the non-elemental for pure slash with some added range. You can also go for heavy attacks on NIKANAs, same build as the Reaper, but not really fun. Similar to the GUANDAO Prime, this weapon has a low Riven disposition. It's not worth going for those crazy Rivens, but do the same and go for the dual elemental, Toxin and Cold, so you can have low viral values and add spring-loaded blade for more range. Remember, Riven dispositions change over time. And number 2, the deadliest dual swords in the game, 1,000,000,000% worth investing. It is a slash weapon with great status chance, attack speed, and 2 amazing stances that are worth using on this weapon. The viral build is simple and clean, so basically the usual, using Swirling Tiger in the stance for multi-procs and knockdowns to greater increase your damage output. The second build is the pure slash one, using the same stance but increased our range on this. You can get 10 to 20 bleed procs in less than a second. Alright, the final build is the burst damage build, for quick strikes to finish off enemies, using the crossing snake stance and modded for corrosive, with the corrosive being the higher damage type. For Rivens, I recommend crit damage and range. Okay, the top weapon in this list is none other than KRONEN Prime, the slash TONFAS that have insane range when using the Sovereign Outcast stance. It can be built for combos and heavy attacks. Very decent stats that are pretty much on par with NAMI SKYLA, but what makes them better is the stance, offering wider sweeps with the forward and block combo from Sovereign Outcast. The builds are going to be pretty much similar. The viral build, just balance out the viral to be lower than the slash, and you are set. The non-elemental increased the range with spring-loaded blade for even crazier range. If you're going for a Riven, definitely go for crit damage and range. You can hit upwards of 11 to 15 meters in range with the forward and block combo. And to greatly increase your damage output, I recommend a primer to help you dish out more damage on melees, especially if you're running a non-elemental build. Get a Kuva Nucor with base magnetic and mod it like so to proc several status effects, which in turn will increase your damage output if you're using condition overload. Anyway guys, that has been it from me. Please go crazy with these weapons and annihilate your enemies. If you didn't know, I stream on Twitch. Be sure to catch me live whenever you can. I showcase fun builds and do crazy stuff. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe. for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.